What's up, my fellow backers? This is Sir Six here with another episode of an Avionics Technician's Guide. My professional experience between the MV-22 Osprey and now the 737 here at the Boeing Company has made me enjoy analyzing ships within the game. Now, without further chatter, let us examine the ship in full detail, the Cutlass Black. One of the most popular medium-sized ships that the game can offer for new players, possessing multi-role capabilities and available year-round in-game and on the website. Think of it as the gateway ship. After you get a feel for what role you enjoy the most, you can then invest in a role-dedicated ship later down the road. Today we'll be taking a look at the ins and the outs, and the ups and the downs of this ship. First, we'll start off with our normal pre-flight walkaround, examining the standard weapons package, an internal walkaround in conjunction with aircrew fighting positions, reviewing the flight deck, analyzing flight performance, and wrapping up the video with tactics. Let's begin. To me, it is as if the Cutlass Black is more than a medium fighter and freighter. It is a player's first step into the jack-of-all-trades realm, providing a stable platform for mission running, cargo hauling, and combat utility. This is a ship that can provide flexibility for the solo players and friends who want a multi-crew experience without breaking the bank. Let's take a closer look and discuss the ship as we start our pre-flight walkaround. I'll see you on the ground. Taking a look at the ship, the first thing that stands out is the forward-mounted vertical stabilizers on either side of the ship. It makes the ship look like a giant praying mantis. Anyways, these give the ship stability during flight, and can offer minimal protection to the flight deck itself. But these things are super easy to rip off with a well-placed shot. As we continue, to the nose of the ship we have the nose landing gear. The only issue I see is when flying, the landing gear doesn't retract into the ship, and this can cause unnecessary drag. You want as little uneven surfaces exposed as possible, though aft landing gear are fine for the fact that they retract into the ship. Between the flight deck and the vertical stabilizer, we have the only wing-like structure on the ship that can provide some sort of lift. Notice the curved leading edge on the wing-like structure. To either side of the ship, we have the egress doors for both troop and smaller vehicles. And to the rear, we have the engines. For me personally, I like how they are exposed and you see the internal pipes and tubes. It is as if you were to physically see an aircraft engine when you drop it out of its protective casing. I would also like to point out the thin but long like needle structure out of the back of the engine. To me, it looks like a static wick. Now, for all of you who do not know, the purpose of a static wick is to act as a ground. When an aircraft is flying, they rub against smaller particles at high velocity, causing friction. Friction can equal static electricity, so the wick draws static electricity buildup away from the aircraft, preventing electrostatic discharge and frying components and causing a fire due to the arcing. What I do not like about the engines is that they are not well protected. They also emit an insane amount of EM signature and can be ripped off with ease. In fact, they are the primary target for anyone who wants to prey on you. And if you even lose one, you are as good as dead. Going under the ship to the belly, you can see some cargo hooks that could be used for sling loading cargo in the future. And as we continue our walk to the front, we are introduced to one out of two Badger repeaters on the bottom of the ship. These are size 2 gimbaled laser repeaters dedicated to the pilot. And on the top side of the ship, we also have two gimbaled size 2 Scorpion GT 215 ballistic Gatling guns. These are also dedicated to the pilot. But what stands out the most is the 16 missiles it carries. I'll get to this in a little bit. As we transition from our pre-flight walkaround into the internals, the first thing I like to point out is the empennage. At the aft end of the ship, we have the vehicle ramp itself that can fit a Dragonfly into the vehicle bay. The bay is a wide yet low ceiling cabin that is the main entrance to the ship. As we walk in, you'll notice the 3 seats to either side of me, for a grand total of 6 seats, making the ship able to drop troops off. Looking around the immediate area, I can say I love the interior of the ship. All the exposed wire bundles and open panels. It reminds me of the MV-22 Osprey. It's not meant to look pretty, it's meant to be cheap and get the job done. If you like a nice soft cushions and carpet floors of your ship, then I suggest going for an Origin ship. Toward the back of the vehicle bay, we have 2 cargo doors on either side of me. Once open, you have a nice view. Again, I believe this can be used for a dragonfly. If you have grunts sitting in the seats, it would make sense if they use the ramp itself since they sit right next to it. And you let the vehicle out of the side door or off the ramp after your troops get off safely. If you also have a heavy machine gunner, you can lay down some cover fire and be a spaceship door gunner. Through the next set of doors, we enter the small living quarters, aircrew turret, and the flight deck itself, all mashed together. It also seems to me that OSHA standards have improved, for we have 2 fire extinguishers. We also see our personal lockers and rifle racks that actually work. Once we get into the turret, we have a clear view of the top side of the ship. The turret has a decent angle of fire in every direction. The turret itself has 2 size 3 laser repeaters. The turret can keep the skies clear or provide sentry when troops are in the vicinity. I like how your turret angle of fire is hindered when looking at the engine. You cannot shoot it, a great safety feature. But if a lighter fighter gets in the blind spot, then you're going to have a really rough day trying to shoot it. And finally, we make our way to the flight deck, which can have the pilot and the RIO. The RIO is your radar intercept officer. He is the one that sits in the back seat. Both seats extend up to get you visibility, and when looking around, you have a bit more view of what is around you as the pilot. I also like how the MFDs are visible at all times, and you have a radar screen right in the middle. Again, for all of you who do not know, an MFD is a multifunctional flight display. Now, with our walk around complete along with our flight deck analysis, let us take to the skies. I'll see you in the air. The ship feels wobbly at higher atmospheric conditions. It has a decent acceleration overall and it has decent hydrogen fuel burn rate, allowing a longer time to be on station for support. This ship has a mid-range quantum jump drive and fuel, making this again a well-rounded ship for the price you pay. Now finally, let us discuss some tactics. To me, this thing is a multi-role ship, and with the analysis we just went through, I firmly believe that this could be a poor man's gunship. It doesn't have the same damage output like a traditional gunship would with its missile spam or its turrets, but it can hold troops and make up firepower for cargo space to supply for allies. Now, if you decide to use it as a gunship or a dropship, it is best that you have your RIO manage the shields and such, and have your turrets manned. Keep your engines away from your adversaries and keep your distance. When fighting in space, use your missiles to your advantage and coordinate with your crew. With heat and degradation 3.5, you can at least make fighters retreat because you have an independent person micromanaging the systems. And the pilot and gunner lay down the firepower. Fighters do not have this ability, it's a one-man show. Now, as a dropship, the Cutlass can loiter with its only turret and use its missiles or its gimbaled weapons to assist with ground vehicles. If you're more of a precision person, then fixed weapons will also do good, but if you want more versatility, you simply just use gimbaled weapons and you press Z to free look and shoot where the pilot can see. And finally, as a medium fighter, in a solar situation, I go for the 4 fixed size 3 energy weapons instead, and I keep a range of 500 to 800 meters and hurt them enough with missiles to the point where I can clean the ship up with my guns. Avoid turn fights like the plague, unless you are confident that you will come out on top, because there is no ejection seats, so pick and choose your fights wisely. But again, it's your tactics and your decisions overall, so roleplay as you please. Overall, I've had some great feedback for this series, and I'd love to hear yours. I'm always trying to push myself and create content that is more than just stating facts. It's to help people figure out what role they want to play, and if the ship in question really fits the niche they desire. Once again, I want to hear your thoughts. Let's continue this topic in the comments. If you enjoyed this, then tell me what ship you would like to see next. I thank you for personally taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. It means a lot. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and share it with everybody else. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe because I'll be doing this once a week. But with that being said, I will see you on the flip side.